what's up, man? It's your boy Derek Brent here with StrikeSevenSports.com. This episode of the Strike Seven Sports podcast, we're going to talk about the NBA Finals, the recap of what went down in Game 6 of 2020-2021 NBA Finals between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. And we're also going to discuss some other, random topics that went down during this past week of sports, starting from Sunday to today, which is Thursday, which is not Thursday night, but which is Wednesday night. So here we're gonna go. We're gonna start off with the Milwaukee Bucks winning their first NBA World Championship since 1970, I believe. 1970, 1971, I believe. First championship in 50 years. The last time they won a championship, they had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So there's some, and also there's been a history of great players that have came through the Milwaukee franchise, and it doesn't, and Milwaukee doesn't get the respect. I won't say respect, but the attention that it deserves when it comes to having great players in a part of the franchise. Things of that matter. You usually hear teams such as the Lakers, Celtics, what else out there? Lakers, Celtics, 76ers, Chicago Bulls, the usual teams you hear about when they're great players. But, we're in a new year, new era of basketball, and players could be known anywhere. It doesn't matter the market. But shouts out to Finals MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. Dude has showed up, man. He just came up, man. These last few weeks, man. He's just really turned into the player that everyone expects him to be, man. Even though, I feel sorry for Chris Paul for not winning a championship. I'm not really nearly as, sweating it. That given the fact that Giannis won a championship, man. The dude went off on the Phoenix Suns, man. He just did, man. He scored 50 points. He had 50 points on the Phoenix Suns. 5 blocks, man. It was just deadly at the free throw line. Like, the dude was not missing free throws, man. When people would, make fun of him once he get to the 3-point line. For real, yeah, people doing a countdown, dude showing money signs, counting the money while he try to get ready to make his free throws, all that. And then the game last night, he just did not miss from the line. Didn't miss that much from the free throw line. He just carved them up, man. And they had no answer for the dude, bro. For the past, I would say, going back to like game 2. The dude, I think the game 2 is when he scored 40 points, man, against Phoenix. And then he just went off from there, man. And they didn't have an answer for the dude, bro. The dude just kept coming, just kept, swinging at it, kept striving to be better. Didn't worry about what people were saying about him, the critics, all that, man. You had people out there like Kendrick Perkins calling him the Robin. He's Robin, and Chris Middleton is Batman, and saying all other nonsense, man. That wasn't the case last night. That wasn't the case. And shouts out to Chris Middleton as well, man. He chipped in with 29 points. Against 29 points against the no, not 29 points. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Tongue tied. My bad. Well, he stepped in with 20, let me see. 17 points. My bad, man. Got my screen messed up, man. Screen stuff freezing up. He stepped in with 17 points. He wasn't on it last night, but it was because of him in the previous two games, along with Giannis, is that the Milwaukee Bucks got in the situation they were in last night. It was because of Chris Middleton, along with Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I mean, he's a star. Man. He's not a superstar, but he's a star. You know, Drew Holiday could be inconsistent as well, but he chipped in that game before the other game, before Game 6, for that allowed Milwaukee to come home and close this thing out. You know, and then other thing, man, I'm not a a big superstitious guy or person that believes in team of destiny and things like that. I believe things just happen because when teams are in the right position to win and have everything, the advantages of winning, the advantages to win a game, and things go their way. But the way Giannis was playing, man, with the blocks, the image of him blocking, I think it was Devin Booker's shot the previous game. Then the next game, he had the Drew Holiday stole it from Booker, and the alley hoop to Giannis, and it was just the finisher with that game. It's like it was just it had to stick. That stuff had to stick, man. Those images are gonna be historic. Going 5 to 10 years down the road. That's gonna be people are always gonna remember those images, man. From him blocking those shots, that look he made after he got the dunk, the foul, when they fouled him on the dunk. People gonna remember that, man. This dude showed up. He growed up, man, a lot, man. I'm proud of him. I wasn't expecting this from the Milwaukee Bucks, man. Wasn't expecting it. I picked Phoenix to win the series 4-2, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So Milwaukee, they took advantage of it. I'm not, giving them an asterisk or anything like that because this was a tough season, man. These guys are playing during the pandemic. Certain things, a lot of things, freedoms were, limited, due to the coronavirus pandemic. Games got postponed. Injuries were mounting up on, a certain team, on a lot of teams. We saw it. The Lakers, the Clippers, a lot of things, man. Brooklyn, they went down. We thought Giannis was going to go down with that injury that he suffered against the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals, but he came back, man, and it didn't even faze him, man. And the thing is, that game 6, man, he wanted it. They put the ball in his hand, and he dominated, man. And he didn't have the help that he had in the previous games. Chris Middleton wasn't on point in Game 6. Drew Holiday wasn't on point. He had 12 points. It was pretty much all Giannis, man. The whole time, all Giannis. Bobby Porter stepped in and did something. Connaughton did his thing. So it is what it is, man. And Brooklyn Lopez had 10. PJ Tucker didn't score any points, but he provides a ton of value. He kind of like remind me of Draymond Green a little bit, But congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks, man. Won the first championship since 1970, over 50 years. 1971, I believe. Over 50 years, man, of waiting. And they got the opportunity to win a championship. Shouts out to the small market teams out there. I hope the New Orleans Pelicans took notice. Utah Jazz, Portland, Memphis, all these teams. There is hope, man. There is hope for these teams to win the championship. It can be done. We saw it when San Antonio won their championships, man. They're not a big market, You just gotta, like I said in the previous podcast, you just gotta, teams just gotta be patient along with their fan bases and build through the draft. And hope that those picks through the draft, accumulated through the draft, could fit together, could sync. Like they did with the Golden State Warriors, or the Milwaukee Bucks. Lance and Chris Miller have been together since 2013. They're young guys. Now they all grown up. So it can be done. Hopefully, we can see more of these type of finals where we don't. What obvious ain't. We don't see the obvious of who's going to win. Like we saw in the bubble last year. But good job by the NBA, man. Congratulations to the NBA on completing another season with a pandemic going on. With all the factors going on outside, it's out of their control. They carried on. They pushed forward with the mission. Got the season completed. It was a little longer, but they got it done. And probably I'm looking forward to the next season. But now I'm ready for some football though. But anyways, man, congratulations to the Bucks, man. I'm gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back with our next topic. Support the Strike 7 Sports platform growth by heading over to Fanatics.com and purchasing officially licensed gear from the NFL, the NBA, and much more. Each purchase made through the link goes to the funding of the Strike 7 Sports brand. To proceed, click on the link strike7sports.com/fanatics and enjoy shopping. That's strike7sports.com/fanatics. Enjoy. All right, I'm back with my next topic, and this is on college football. So a report came down from the Houston Chronicle. Houston Chronicles Brett Zimmerman that Oklahoma and Texas, University of Texas, is inquiring about joining the Southeastern Conference, the SEC. Now, I have a report that builds a little more into that story from Sports Illustrated. So I'm going to go ahead and read it real quick. Texas and Oklahoma have reached out to the SEC regarding a potential conference move, according to the Houston Chronicle's Brett Zimmerman. The addition of the Big 12 powers will give the SEC 16 schools, creating the nation's first super conference by Zimmerman. Texas and Oklahoma induction into the SEC will require 75% majority vote of the conference's current schools, according to Sports Illustrated's Ross Dellinger. Wednesday's report doesn't mark the first potential rumblings of an exodus from the Big 12. Texas and Oklahoma both nearly left the conference after the 2010 season, but the program stayed put as Missouri and Texas A&M left for the SEC. Texas A&M President Ross Bjork said Wednesday he hopes the Aggies remain the only SEC team from the state of Texas, per Sports Illustrated's Ross Dellinger. SEC Commissioner Greg Sinkley declined to comment on Wednesday's report. The college athletics landscape is shifting constantly. Oklahoma spokesperson told the Athletics, Nicole Auerbach, "We don't address every anonymous rumor." All right, so the way I see that, I'm not surprised by that, man. I'm not surprised by Texas and Oklahoma wanting to come to be a part of the SEC. I believe being a part of the SEC would help out recruiting with both of those schools. It's not like they don't have a bad. It's not like they don't have a terrible recruit class as it is. It just would enhance their program. I mean, Oklahoma has become a place where quarterbacks thrive in. We've seen it in the past. We've seen Baker Mayfield come out of there, Jalen Hurts come out of there, Kyler Murray's come from out of there, and then we're gonna have another first round pick, possibly taken first overall, and Spencer Rattler once this season is over with. So it ain't like it ain't hurting. It ain't gonna enhance their program. It's gonna bring in more prospects. And Texas, it won't hurt them as well. They'll just continue to make. It will make. They already generate money as it is, and their recruiting will get as better as well. But their chances of, I mean, winning a national title, competing for a national title year in year out could go down quickly. And that's when you got teams such as SEC already has Alabama, you got LSU, you got Georgia, you got Florida who hangs around. You got you never know what you're gonna get out of Tennessee. You got two Mississippi schools, Mississippi State and Mississippi, and you know they're in the same boat as Tennessee right now. You never know what you're gonna get out of both of them, but it's gonna be interesting if they vote to allow both schools to leave the conference, leave the Big 12, and join the SEC. You know, they're both schools are very popular around the country, and both schools have boosters from all over the world that supports them, and going to the SEC would just increase that popularity. You know, they get more money, more, I would say, exposure, more. You see more better games. You could possibly see Texas versus Alabama, Texas versus LSU. They already played LSU though, but Georgia versus Texas, Georgia versus Oklahoma, Tennessee versus Texas. It's just so many great matchups you would see in the SEC if they would have to move over to that conference. So I mean, I'm not surprised by this happening, by this move, by this potential move. You know, I'm assuming Texas will play in the SEC West, and they'll probably move Oklahoma. Oklahoma will be in the SEC East, and then that will bring back the rivalry between the games between Texas and Missouri. They were Big 12 opponents back in the day, a few years ago. Oklahoma and Missouri. You see all kind of games, man, and you know playoff implications. And it would, you know, things would intensify, especially if they bring in this 12-team playoff concept they're talking about going into. And once the the current deal for the 14 playoffs expires. But yeah, Texas and Oklahoma talking about joining the Big 12. So we'll just keep an eye on that and see how things shape out. We're gonna go to another quick break, and we back to wrap up our final topic. All right, we're back, and we're gonna talk about our last topic on the podcast, and that's Jamel Iron Man Charlo facing Brian Castano, the big fight that went down this past weekend, and the fight ended in a draw, split decision draw. So it was a controversial fight. I thought Brian Castano won the fight. However, given the situation at hand, given where he was at, and the stable he fights under, I just knew they weren't going to give it to him outright. Castano, even though Castano had Charlo on the ropes for the majority of the fight, he didn't, capitalize on that and put the doubt in the judge's mind to even think about making this fight a draw. He didn't, to me. But he was putting it on Charlo, man, this fight. He should have won it. Despite not, capitalize on him. I felt like he did enough to win the fight, but I know the judges weren't going to just give it to him like that. He had to do a little more than that to sway the judges. So I'm looking at these scorecards right here, and one judge had the fight 114-113 in favor of Castano. The other judge had it 114, which was a draw. But this is where the controversy started at right here. 117. The other judge had it 117, 111 in favor of Charlo. So they had Charlo winning by 6 points over Castano, and Castano won over Charlo by 1 point. And the other one was a tie. The other judge. So it just, these type of things happen in boxing, man. It just, the guy should have won the fight, man. He did enough to win that fight against Charlo, man. And you heard in his Charlo's corner that his trainer, Derrick James, was instructing Jamel to you have to knock Brian Castano out. And that still didn't happen, you know. He had, like, Castano just kept coming, you know. Just kept coming. And it didn't happen, man. It just didn't happen against Brian Castano. You know? It just didn't happen, man. I'm just going to play a little bit of audio, man. A little bit of audio of what Derrick James told his protege in the corner. Video courtesy of ESN News.
Got a question.
Jamel, first of all, congratulations. Wonderful performance and a very entertaining fight. You gave your reaction to when Derrick James told you to get the knockout. I guess my question is for Derrick. What was the reasoning or just the thought process in that moment? Obviously, being ringside, we didn't hear it on the telecast, but we did find out that was said. What was just the reason behind that?
The reason why I said it was because you have to find some reason to inspire the fighter, even though if you looked up at the scorecards, at the judges, the unofficial judging, they had it down. And so I said, listen, we need to pick it up. To go out there and get it. And that's really what he did. So that's really what made me do it, was because I saw that up there, and Joe was telling me about the cut me and telling me about it. They had him down. So that's why I was like, we need to pick it up. I mean, he won the 10th and the 11th. He heard him several times. But the 12th,
I was a little bit unactive, like.
Yeah, you let him off the hook.
I should have.
You should have put the, I told you to step on the gas, we need a knockout. So you should put the feet on, pedal to the metal, man.
We got 2 more questions for Jamel.
All right, so there you have it from Derrick James, the trainer of Jamel Charlo. He knew and I saw the unofficial scorecards from Showtime. They had him down. They had Charlo down, losing this fight, and Derrick James got wind of it and tried to inform Jamel that he had to knock Castano out in order to win this fight. And however, they didn't even have to do that because the fight ended up being a draw. And I think if maybe he was out of gas, but if Castano would have just did a little more in that last round, that last minute of the fight, I think he would have got that card, that other scorecard. It wouldn't have been time, But hopefully we can get a rematch between these two. Both fighters, I believe, are on the same. I think Castano's under the PBC stable as well. Charlo, he's on there. So there's no reason not to have this fight, to have a rematch between these two. They're both fighting on the same stable, got the same promoter, all that. Have the rematch, go right back into it, make your adjustments. For both fighters, don't go in there with the same game plan, think you're gonna win, while the other fighter, watching tape on you and making adjustments based on your tendencies of what he saw in the previous fight. So we need to have a rematch between these two, man. Don't fight your mandatories first. Go have a rematch and then do the mandatories first. Then do the mandatories after you get this fight over with. But hopefully we get this by the end of the year. Hopefully, or the beginning of next year. Between these two fighters. All right, so that's all I have for y'all for right now, man. If you listen to this podcast through YouTube, just give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel on any of these subjects I talked about today. Same thing if you listen to it through the podcast, through Spotify, Anchor, all the other Amazon, all the other various platforms where you listen to podcasts. Just give me a 5-star rating, leave your comments, thumbs ups, your likes, all that. Let me know how you feel. But what I just talk, any subject that I talk about tonight on tonight's podcast. And also check out strike7sports.com for latest content on NFL, the NBA, and much more. Have a blessed day. Peace.